this just got generated when I created this thing. Hold on, let me just do it. And then just put on the music.
Style. Limerick. There once was a brown tooth whose food went down the sewers with such a thump, and who was quite so stupid. This one's for you, butter, but this one's for you to remember with a Butterbean, a butter box for a butter stupid joke to tell a friend. He would not forget it. A buttering shame, that is what his friends used to call him at school. Or so that was what they would call him, still just a little bit less buttercut. Oh, so mean, and so cruel about waste. For he was a total mime-a-low. And his quacking voice was so shrill, they were shocked to their butterbone when he started singing down the hill. Sometimes they even wanted to. Sometimes they couldn't believe it, but they couldn't imagine Butter's silence without him. So Butter bought as she was, and never did he let the cruel brutes fancy to beat on him, till he found that they knew no end and were the worst bullies for to ever walk this country. And you know what he had to say? And though all things came to be as they were fated, when he ended up meeting those who cared, just like himself, so selfish and cold-hearted, they let him go and moved on without a cold part, yet without his hat. How could he bear a feather or a bow? Would it float up or flop back or melt upon his brow? Let's not speak of this with rue, so we shall never know the truth. But his mirth and joy were a thing to behold, as if he were a butterfly and not just a blustering boar. It was a darn butterfly that he did tell. Like any old bag of flowers, he went to have a renewal. Was he a brave or was he a fool? To let his days sail through without much to mark their end or anything else that's meant to tell you that it's safe now. For who knows what could happen today? And then one day, in a summer's day, but the body decided that he had had enough, that he was ready to take a stand and turn the tables in his favor. Though he might seem a bit shy, he knew how to speak, just for it too. So much so that the crowds could hear his voice, just like a butterbag that cried aloud. Good child beats butter bow. And so, for them, it was time for his butter trip to begin. He made his way there as fast as he could, his words to be shouted off the dome of the world stage. And would he take the nation by storm?
No.
It was not long before he found his voice, and people began to notice him, and his courage was becoming such a focus for him. Even when he spoke to the mayor, he realized that he was a bit slow and his mind may have been too eager for him to be in charge of everything. But it was then that he started to believe that things may change if someone had the power to make them change. He felt an urge to start a movement, something beyond just words on the ground. But the more he dreamed and pondered, the less he felt that anyone could care. He was alone in his course, like a blade in the dark or even a butter knife left all out of sorts. Still the butterfly struggled. At night, when he couldn't sleep, he cried until the sun began to rise again. There had to be someone, somewhere who would help him. There had to be someone, anyone who would listen and not laugh at him. But as time passed on, he could feel his heart growing dimmer and colder each day. He had fought and he had lost, and yet he had not given up. Not yet. And in that moment, he realized something. He could fight, and there would never be a tomorrow. For the world would always move on, for him or without him. It was in that instant that his life changed forever, for he knew that he could never be defeated by anyone or anything. He could be beaten and bruised, but he would always be alive, and he would never forget the path he had chosen for himself. And in that moment, he found his light, the fire of courage and determination which would never fade and never cease to burn. And as time passed, he began to see that he wasn't fighting alone, but rather that he was joined by countless others, just like him, struggling against the tide of hopelessness and darkness.
Still being defeated.
And that was what really mattered, that even when it felt like the world had forgotten him and left him behind, he could hold on to that hope and that light. No matter what, he had not seen the end of his journey. Maybe one day he could find a way to turn the tables. Maybe one day he could change the world. No one knew. Hey, here we are. Even if it wasn't enough to find a way to understand one another, we can at least appreciate the struggles we've gone through in our past selves for having endured so much. At least we can appreciate the world and ourselves for being alive and being able to still have a chance at making a difference. Even if it's just by standing up and being there to witness it. After all, isn't that the beauty of it all? And in the end, doesn't that matter more than anything else? It's not the journey that matters, but the path you take and what you choose to learn from it. I learned a lot from Butterbean about what it meant to be a good person, a true person, and about the importance of always staying true to yourself no matter what. And now I will cherish that memory forever, even though we didn't end up winning the battle for power. But it's okay, because he didn't lose either. Because I'm still here, and so are you. And we are all just a bunch of butterflies trying to live in this crazy, beautiful, messy world. And at least we got a chance to make it better, even just for one small moment. And for that, I am truly grateful. From here on out, I will keep Butterbean's words in my heart. I will never forget the way that he loved and fought and died for the light. The Power of Victimhood by Butterbean at bookstores everywhere. Coming soon. Butterness is something all humans seem to harbor, tucking it away in corners of their hearts, no matter how we strive to stay positive and free. Yet when we talk of loss, of hurt, of pain, of suffering, we become sympathetic, compared to human, understood better by men who have suffered. Yet such comparison falls flat. If two people share a suffering, both have suffered, but they cannot blame the other for their own. Despair, to seek understanding without blame, is not victimhood, but a strength. A willingness to look past pain and strive for harmony without excuses. So let us talk of victims, of those who suffer with cause, without guilt, and who have a right to their loss. But in truth, let us forgive those who do not understand or empathize. Forgiveness is the answer, not escape into victimhood.
Nor is holding the powers that be to account. Embrace! Embrace! Oh, hold on. Nor holding the powers. Let's see what happens.
Nor holding the powers that be to account. Needs suffering alone to light a flame in the hearts of the innocent and honest. To fight for those who have no voice, no power, is what inspires the resistance. In time when all seems lost, for unity can only come through understanding and compassion, not anger and revenge. So let us do justice with love and serve the innocent. May their memory be a light that guides us, and a reminder to keep striving, no matter the obstacles, to lift the weight of oppression off the backs of the downtrodden. And let us never forget the victims who were simply pawns in a game, not their own making. May their passing not be in vain. May they rest in peace, and let us respect their journey, whether short or long, without judgment or remorse. And may their memory be evergreen, unforgettable in the land of the living. boilerplate victory speech on the occasion of the Breen occupation of Monaca, which was followed by mass protests against tyranny. May the lessons of history be remembered. May the evils of the past never return to haunt us in the present. May we learn from each other and allow our kindness to be flourishing in these troubled times. I know it may be difficult, especially in a world where hope feels elusive and fleeting. But if we keep striving, working together, and acknowledging the failures and successes of the past, I believe we can create a brighter future. So let's not give up on this beautiful, terrifying journey we call life. But let's fight through with every breath, every heartbeat, with every moment that brings us closer to a better tomorrow. May the actions of the mighty touch the heart of every beetle and flower child and fellow traveler. AI-generated message commemorating the jettison of the Monacan resistance out of the Breen flagship airlock. In the twinkle of an eye, and with one swift kick, we've sent our enemies packing, soar like astronauts out of orbit. May this serve as a lesson to all who truth, trust our nation's integrity and itself.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That is a punch to the gut. Okay. More soon sometime.